Bartos needs no one to aid him.
Hello, you thrashing proud defenders of Midgard, and welcome back. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about... So it's time to put this argument to a rest. It is the argument for and against the allied races and the requirements to unlock them. Now, to recap what's been going on, in order to play an allied race, you must have completed a series of achievements that go along with it. At this time of recording, I've completed 3 out of 4. Basically, I've had 3 or 4 completed at BlizzCon, but I didn't really care too much about the Void Elves to kind of finish. And I know a lot of, if you like the Void Elves, you know, this isn't here to diss on Void Elves. It's just they're not really so much my cup of tea. With that being said, I might make one, but they're just kind of like emo like Blood Elves. But, you know, like, oh, I can name them Edgelord. There we go. Okay, maybe I'll make one. So, with that out of the way, it's the tasks in order that you have to complete in order to play the allied races isn't too difficult now, but that may change. So a lot of people will just hate the idea of it being gated in the first place. And while it is something that they've done that's completely new, they've never done something like this before. They've never gated new expansion content behind old world content. And I know what you're saying, well, this is all technically current expansion, and that's true. But the argument that they used against this wasn't the argument I would have used. Everyone says, oh, it takes too much time, I don't want to do this, I shouldn't have to do this content, and those are the completely wrong arguments to use. The argument that I would use is, let's say after Battle for Azeroth there's an next expansion. We'll call it the Twilight Empire. I don't know why is that in my head? I don't know why. Where did I get that from? Who knows? Anyway, so let's say someone hasn't played since Wrath. They see the Twilight Empire, you know, pre-order now, and then you get to do this, or get to be this all-new race of, like, octopus humanoid thingies. And they're like, cool, but I kind of like the Lightforged Draenei. So somebody from Wrath that hasn't played rebuys the game, so they buy Kata, they buy all the expansions up to the Twilight Empire. Now, when they actually get the game and load it up, they're going to be very confused, because it's going to say to them, you have to complete these achievements first. So in other words, they're going to have to level and then do old world, like 2 expansions ago content, just to get this new allied race. Again, it being an expansion from Battle for Azeroth. This isn't current state. Current state, it's all current world content technically. But in the future, it's not going to be. So I don't see this remaining around forever, because it doesn't make sense an expansion from now. It doesn't make sense 2 expansions from now, or 3 or 4. It'd be like somebody getting the game now, having to go back and do storylines in Wrath of the Lich King just to play a Worgen or a Goblin. It doesn't make sense. Now, again, at current, it might make sense, and I don't know when this whole restriction is going to go away. I kind of hope it goes away with the release of the expansion. But again, you're putting in the pre-order bonus. You're paying up front to trust Blizzard on the new expansion, and you have to do content so that you get to play something that belongs to the next expansion. Now, that could be it. It could be that you have to have done something prerequisite in order to play this content early. That was their way of giving it to us early. That's, again, that argument for it makes sense. But again, I was one of the people that found it a little silly. And the gameplay in the background, of course, is the Lightforged Draenei stuff that I did, and I even boosted one. Which, by the way, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later about the looks of them. But again, like, this stuff isn't like hard to do. It isn't like, it is a little bit of a tedious grind, especially the Army of the Light and the Algracian Reach rep. That stuff you're gonna kind of have to grind through if you didn't do it already. But with that being said, if you played the content and, you know, you played the expansion like for its full duration, this stuff would have been done by now. I even took a break a few times throughout this expansion. And again, the only reason I haven't completed the Void Elf one is because I just simply didn't want to. But that being said, nobody should be forced to do content, right? Like, play the game how you want to play. And you'd think for the new expansion, again, they would have said, okay, don't do old world content just to play new world expansions. Even lore-wise, it doesn't really make that much sense. You know, lore-wise, you've already defeated Gul'dan, so the Nightborn should already be on your side. You know, you've already defeated Argus, so the Lightforged and I should already be on your side. So the whole reputation thing is kind of an arbitrary way of just saying, hope you did our content so that you can enjoy the new content. But again, that comes back to the argument that it's because you're getting this stuff early. But again, usually pre-order bonuses are bonuses and not restrictions. With all said and done, it depends on how you look at it. There's, of course, arguments for and against it. I'm still going to stand on the side that's a little silly. With that being said, I already have it all done, so I can't really complain too much. I'm not somebody that's in the position to say, well, I didn't do any of this. Does that mean I'm screwed? Well, yes, ultimately it does mean that you're screwed, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I hope Blizzard doesn't adopt this as a new thing that they're going to continue to do. I hope that they learn from this and say, okay, well, maybe it wasn't a good idea to gate this stuff, and just save it for the next expansion, Blizzard. Just save it for that. I know that there's a content drought, and that this gives us something really good to do, which, again, could have been another one of their ideas. Let's give them a lot to do so that they don't get bored of just looking for raids or normal or heroic and Taurus. So I can ultimately see. So was this all worth it? After you've done all the grinding out and you have your allied race, is it worth it? Well, yes and no. You see, I started playing a Lightforged Draenei Paladin, and then I boosted another Paladin. Because I wanted to get the Heritage set, but I also kind of wanted to play one now. I wanted to get the Mage Tower out of the way so I can get the Flail. I've already gotten the Warrior, I've already gotten the Druid one, so I just gotta play Paladin and just get the Paladin one out of the way. And I gotta say that the leveling is different, you know, and even, well, before I get too ahead of myself. First off, the introduction into the allied race was a cool idea. Go to them and, you know, say, okay, we need your help. What the hell was the guy's name? It's in the video here, but the Lightforged Draenei dude, it was actually a lot of fun. I liked his energy, following him around and helping him throughout his trial. But then you play the allied race and it's like, okay, go help them. You didn't get to see it from their perspective. I would have liked that a little bit more, that the introduction wasn't as flushed out as I thought it was going to be. I thought like we were going to play like at least a scenario, like at least give us a small scenario of like the history, or like fighting on Argus, or maybe even being on the Vindicar as it crashed, or not the Vindicar, sorry, the what was High Exarch Turelian's ship called? The Zeladar? I think that's what it is. At least I was beyond that when it crashed. Like, give us something really cool introduction. You know, as the Void Elf, have us kind of tap into the Void and like, you know, like corrupted ourselves instead of saving them, etc., etc. So it was kind of anticlimactic once you entered the allied race, and it was just, okay, there you go, out in the world you go. There wasn't like any really cinematic, there wasn't too much in the ways of that, which was a little bit of a letdown. I would have liked to have had that more with the character rather than going to ask them for help. You know, if these reputation grinds and everything were so important, that was enough to just get us talking to them and say, okay, you know, here's like for example, the Lightforged Draenei, you have to witness the trial. We didn't need to see that. I would have liked to have played it myself as someone going through the trial. Even you could have done the exact same thing, but you're just a newbie at level 20. You know, so like 2 level 20s go in there, and you know you get your butt kicks at some moments, and it'd be like even more comedy that way. You know, maybe if you play a female character, he kind of like winks at you a little bit or something, or tells you like one of the stupid flirts that they have. But no, it was all done on your general. It wasn't done with the character. We didn't get to see that through the eyes of you know, one of the people going in. So it was kind of a little weird. With that being said, it wasn't bad. I did like the storytelling aspect of it. I am going to do the other ones just to see kind of what they're like. But overall, I'm impressed with them. But again, I'm going to play devil's advocate with myself. And I'm going to say that the reason that they had you do it just once on one character is so you don't have to keep doing that scenario over and over again if you make multiple characters. I suppose that makes sense. So that's kind of at least the simplistic answer, and the only one I really have towards, you know, the whole not letting the allied race go through the scenario and having it just your one character. So I guess that sort of makes sense. Now we're getting into the tattoos of the Lightforged Draenei, because they have tattoos, but the tattoos, especially for the women, only show up on the back. So when I boosted my paladin, I was like, okay, well, I need a slut monk because I want to see my tattoos. there's not enough in game right now to kind of show that. So I had to remove my cloak. I removed my helmet because she looks like a queen. I'll probably show her on screen, hopefully somewhere around here. If not, it would have been like, there would have been captions of, this is what my Lightforged Draenei female looks like. So yeah, I had to get a slut mog for her, so that way I could see it. She has a pretty cute bum, we'll say that, but the Draenei always do, right? But like you can see, like the tattoos are like on, like just above her butt cheeks, and you know it's really nice. But unfortunately, there's no way to see that unless you have a slut mog. And I understand that there's no way for it to like shine through armor, because that would, you know, be a nightmare to code in. But just, it was kind of a weird thing that you could customize, because honestly, unless you're wearing nothing, you'll never see them. So as soon as I was finished, I did Wailing Caverns on my Lightforged Draenei. And I got 1.5 levels out of it with full BOA gear on. And I said, okay, that they really nerfed this into the ground. They really did. And I said, you know what? Screw it. They redid the world. I'm going to go out. I'm going to level in the world. And I have to say, I've had a lot of fun doing it. Won't do it again. It's not going to be something that I'm going to do, you know, on 4 different allied races. I'm going to do it once, and then the rest of them can sit in Orgrimmar or Stormwind and just spam Q dungeons. But just going out in the world again and kind of getting into that whole World of Warcraft-like leveling was actually a lot of fun. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, and that's okay. A lot of people would like to just sit in Stormwind and Orgrimmar and Q and then just level that way. But I don't know. I guess it was an excuse, because they changed that all, and they gave us an excuse to kind of go back out in the world and quest where we want to, other than like follow a sort of set pattern. Even though there's kind of still a pattern, you still can't do like Fellwood at level 20. You know, you have to be 40 to 60. I guess they kind of had it make sense in that sort of way, that you can only do certain content at certain times. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to continue to level that way and get that heritage armor, and hopefully not reach 110 too far away. But even though in the next expansion, you know, there's no new allied races that can, on the Alliance, that can be Druids, so it's Worgen still. It's going to be Worgen for a very long time, especially as long as it's Werebear. I don't care. As long as it's Werebear, I do not care. I like that. It's kind of a, Werebear. It's like Werebear care Werebear. There we go. Like the Care Bears, but Care Werebear. Care Werebear countdown. There we go. Say that 5 times fast. But I guess there's really not much else to talk about. The allied races are great. The gate behind them is a little silly, but I understand it. And I guess that's all there is to say. So I want to know, are you guys upset with the gating? Are you okay with it? Is it really hindering you? Is it kind of discouraging you? Let me know in the comments below. Like my videos, share them, give them a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys next time.